Now we're live. You feel now?
Oh, it's already taken before now.
You think?
Yeah, that's
Maybe
what I
not.
think.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
We aren't wearing our microphones.
We don't wear microphones anymore.
Oh, only for one.
Yeah, it's too much setup involved. What is happening, y'all? I hope y'all having a wonderful, wonderful evening. KM said they made your cornbread and it was fabulous.
Good. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear the good and the bad.
That's right.
As long as you didn't catch your kitchen on fire, it's good.
Yeah, as long as you didn't catch your kitchen on fire.
Or spill hot oil on yourself. That could be another bad.
Or burn yourself with a cast iron skillet,
That's right.
which it can be done.
It can easily be done because
Yeah.
those pans get extremely hot. Not just because of, they just hold heat.
Yeah, that's why they're
Get
so
really
good.
hot.
That's why they cook cornbread so good.
That's right.
Yeah. So what is happening, y'all? Hope y'all having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'm gonna go and tell y'all. If you don't know, you probably saw us posted or saw me posted or not, but Mary Carl has the flu or had the flu, and so me and Brooke are trying to fight it off.
Mm-hmm.
And our immune system is in full force right now, and so yeah, we're a little worn down tonight.
We're trying to make sure we get plenty of rest, but I can feel that sore throat just kind of, trying to make its way through. But so far, we're able to, we're okay.
We're okay.
Mary Carl she's good now. She's got a little cough, but she's doing much better. I took her to the doctor, of course, this week, and y'all, they have a pill out now.
It's not Tamiflu.
That's not Tamiflu that I have never heard of. Not to say I should have heard of it, and you probably shouldn't have either, but the pediatrician wrote her a prescription for something that was one pill, and I didn't think too much about it, but it was an incredible drug. I tell you. I mean,
do you remember the name of it?
Zofluza.
Zofluza.
Our regular pharmacist, it was late in the afternoon. I had asked them what time they closed, and they said 6:30. So I went to go pick up her prescription. They didn't have it because so many people have had the flu.
Yeah, it's really bad around here.
That they had sold out of the Zofluza. And they were also out of the liquid Tamiflu, which didn't apply to us because Mary Carl would much rather have a pill than a liquid any day.
She's like me.
So come to find out, they make that medicine in two doses. One strength was for obviously a smaller weight, which applied to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was a single pill as well, but it was for, bigger people like us. Just full grown folks. So I was able to, the pharmacist told me, they said, you can call around, but honestly, I don't think anybody's going to have it. So I'm sitting in the parking lot of the pharmacy with a sick child, and I'm calling every pharmacy in the area, which we haven't lived here that long, so I don't really know.
Right.
I didn't really know what to call. My narrowing down was to go back to Valley Grande, which is where we lived forever, and get the drug filled there. I felt like they would probably have it, but that was going to be the next day. Well, I didn't want to wait till the next day because part of the ability for the drug to work was catching it in the first 48 hours. So she needed it that day. Lo and behold, I ended up calling one of the big box pharmacy stores, and they had just gotten some in.
How about that?
So they filled the prescription. She took it in the parking lot before we left. And the next day, she was just good to go. No more fever.
Ain't that crazy?
I was amazed.
That's amazing. Absolutely
amazing. So yeah, that was early on in the weekend. You and I are still fighting it. So we haven't been like in the bed sick or anything.
No,
you can just feel feel
Just-
that you're fighting
I'm
it.
tired. We've been tired. I even took a nap today, which I never do. That's usually a sign that I'm sick or trying to get sick as I take a nap. But I feel better now than I did earlier today. I will
Well,
say
that's a
that.
good thing. That's
Just-
a good thing.
Just tired.
I just feel like I should have had it by now.
Yeah.
That
I
I
think so,
should
too.
be full-fledged sick if I was going to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, just trying to make sure I get plenty of rest and hadn't had much appetite though.
Yeah, I didn't even want to eat supper
I
tonight.
haven't eaten anything tonight.
Mm.
I did fix, Mary Carl dinner. She's eating a grown man's meal.
Did she?
Yeah, she has no problem with her appetite.
Well, we did have some good barbecue.
We did, but that's not what she ate. She wanted.
She didn't eat the barbecue.
No,
Oh,
she's
my
a noodle
gracious.
girl.
That's
She
right.
loves noodles and sauce, and that's what she requested. So I knew you and I didn't have much of an appetite, so there was no sense in me preparing a big plate of food.
Yeah, we didn't have much appetite, but I did cook a Boston butt on the grill, on the pellet smoker
Friday,
and we're still eating off of it.
we are today for lunch. Our favorite barbecue restaurant's the Flying Peach over down the road from us. And they have an item on their menu that's barbecue nachos. Well, they're the cat's pajamas,
They're good.
to say the least.
Yeah.
We try to eat fairly well. So
We do. But every now and then,
every now and
you
then,
gotta cheat.
You gotta cheat.
You gotta have a cheat. You gotta have a little cheat day every now and then.
So I thought for lunch today, if Tammy can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
So we just so happen to have some good nacho chips, whatever you call them, tortilla chips.
Mm-hmm.
And I heated up some of that barbecue and put it on top of those chips. And we had some candied jalapenos from Perry Hill Farm.
And they were delicious. If you guys are on here watching, they were good.
Yes, Perry Hill Farm. They make all kinds of jams and jellies and relishes and candied jalapenos. And I melted some cheese on the top of it and put some jalapenos on it. And you said it was delicious.
It was good.
And I was going to fix me some. And I thought, I really don't need that. Because I kind of had a cheat day yesterday a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I turned the bag of chips around and I looked at it and it said 7 chips was 150 calories. So while I don't follow Weight Watchers strict, I know that 7 chips being 150 calories is probably not going to do me well.
But it was good.
I had a
It
bite
was
of
good.
it, and he said I had to have a bite with the jalapeno on it, and I did, and boy, was it good.
Yeah, those candy, that's the first time I've had a candy jalapeno, and it was delicious. I don't know what they do,
Oh, it was
but
good.
it was absolutely fabulous.
I must say, when I was fixing them for you, I ate a few out of the jar.
Did you?
I did.
They're really good.
It wasn't an overwhelming heat. It was just enough to.
It was. It had the seeds in it, and that's where that heat's coming from. But they were delicious. I was thinking that would be really good. You know how we did the pepper jelly,
Mm-hmm.
but having cream cheese
Yeah.
with one of those little jalapeno peppers just boop, popped on top of it right there.
Hold on just a minute. Alexa, add cream cheese to the shopping list.
There she is right there.
Oh.
I got it plugged into the outdoor speaker so you can hear.
Everybody's getting cream cheese on their shopping list. But if you don't have candied jalapenos, you know what my second suggestion would be to put on crackers with cream cheese?
What's that?
We didn't intend to talk about Perry Hill tonight, I know.
Yeah.
But this week, since we got our pantry in, we've been unpacking boxes that have been stored away.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a box of good jams and jellies and just stuff we forgot we even had. So we opened up a jar of strawberry habanero jelly this week. And y'all, you try that on some crackers with some cream cheese.
That'd be good.
We've had it before.
Not that. We've had the pepper jelly.
Yeah, pepper jelly. But I'm saying
the strawberry one. Yeah, it was good. Matter of fact, me and Mary Carl ate that whole jar already.
Well, she had some the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And she woke up in the middle of the night that night and she told me that her throat was burning.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Greek chicken that night. And that's something I might cook on the cooking channel.
Oh yeah,
Because it's something our family loves so
I
much.
love it.
And she said, Mama, that Greek chicken caused me to wake up and have acid. And I said, baby, there is nothing in that would cause you to have acid. So I went on about my business, and she was having a little cough at that time. And I said, Mary Carl, I bet it wasn't that Greek chicken, because she had eaten that strawberry habanero jelly. So I narrowed it down. It must have been the strawberry habanero jelly, because while it's not hot, it has a little heat at the end.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It has a little heat at the end, but it's not really super hot though.
No, it's not. So come to find out, it was either of those. She was getting the flu.
Yeah, that's what it was.
She was getting the flu.
She was getting the flu.
She just had that little tickle in her throat, and she was thinking, regardless, it's
And I just opened up their blackberry habanero today, and it's good.
And they will ship in the state of Alabama.
They will ship in the state of Alabama.
In the state of
Perry
Alabama.
Hill Farms. They're in Dothan, right? Dothan area.
Yeah, they're in the Dothan area, but one of
Wiregrass.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we need to say, because I will be saying it wrong if I don't.
The Wiregrass.
If I talk anymore. They're twin sisters, and they do an awesome job.
They
with
do awesome job.
Salsa and all kind of good stuff.
So I want to make some announcements or some stuff that's going on before we forget.
Okay.
And
can I let Gidget come up here and hear us?
We're gonna have 2 meetups this year at Pedals from the Past. Now we had one last year at the Antiques in the Garden, so we're gonna have another one this year at Antiques in the Garden. And I'm not for sure if Jason at Pedals has those dates set or not.
Was that the April the 21st? Because I think that's what Tracy said.
Is that what she said?
I'll be looking. You talk.
We'll have that all up on our website once the dates are, in fact, set in concrete. But we're doing 2 meetups, one in the spring, and that will be at Pedals from the Past, and that'll be the Antiques in the Garden one. And then we're going to do one in the fall. The dates was, I think we're maybe September-ish for that one. And it will
it's not listed yet.
It's not listed yet. I didn't think so. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that we are going to have 2 meetups here in Alabama where you can meet us, and we're going to have all our buddies there, Just Dig It Farms and Jason at Pedals and Head Zach and Jacqueline at Head Family Farms and Big Family Small Farm, Wes and Angie. And we're going to see if Hoss may come, and
Chestnut Hills,
Cattywampus Acres. So that will be in the spring, and then one in the fall. Also, we have a new shirt design for Thanksgiving. Brooks got it on. It is the turkey shirt, Thomas the Turkey. And I love this one. It's really cute. But that's over on our website. And we're giving away a greenhouse from Grower Solutions. All the details are on our website. If you go there, you'll see a little thing that says greenhouse giveaway. That starts now and will end on December 5th. And we'll draw the winner and announce it on December 6th. So all that is on the website. If you go to our website, coghill.farm.com, everything's there. So if you're interested in winning a greenhouse,
hey, I guarantee you got a better chance at winning the greenhouse than you do the Powerball.
Way better chance.
Oh.
So check that. It's the exact same greenhouse we have here now.
And it doesn't cost you a dime to register.
No, it's absolutely free. Nothing there. So be sure, if you're interested in winning a greenhouse and want one and want a chance to win one, it's over on our website, coghill.farm.com. And thank you to Grower Solutions for doing this with us. This is awesome. Not only they're doing a greenhouse, I want to announce there's several Black Friday sales going on, y'all. Grower Solutions has one going on. All that is on that link. If you go to that link to win the greenhouse, it tells you everything that Grower Solutions has got going on with their Black Friday sales. And it has our promo code in it and all that there on that that link.
Jason, is it U.S. only?
It is continental U.S. only because this thing's coming on ours came on a truck.
Yes.
So it's going to be what they call it, the lower 48.
Uh-huh.
So it'll be just U.S. only and no Hawaii and no Alaska.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
So if you are from outside of the lower 48,
yeah. Sorry about that. But all that's there. All the what do you call it?
Details.
The details is on that link on our website.
That's right.
God, I got sidetracked. Talking about the Black Friday sales. Harvest Right, the freeze dryer. They got a big Black Friday sale going on right now.
And it's awesome, y'all. If
like,
you've ever thought about buying a freeze dryer and you're thinking you might want to buy one in the next, little bit, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, they got their Black Friday sale going on, up to $500 off. So be sure to check those guys out for that as well. And calendars. It looks like our calendars are in play. We'll let you guys know when they're in fact live. And so
it's going to happen though.
It's going to happen. The calendars are going to happen. So we'll let you guys know because I know a lot of y'all were wanting the calendars for years. So it looks like the calendars are going to be good to go. And we'll let you guys know when they are live and you guys can get the calendars.
Where did Gidget go?
She's right here laying down.
Okay. That kind of worried me.
Yep.
Wow. We got a lot going on.
That's right.
We got a lot going on and none of it will we'll have all the details on the website. It's all in black and white. It's not hard to figure out what you need to do to enter or to get the $500 up to $500 off.
At Harvest
There's a
Right.
coupon code and all that good stuff that you'll need to apply in order for that to work.
Not on Harvest Right. It's automatic. There's no coupon code at all.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
If you order from our link, though, it does help us out a little bit.
It does help us out a little bit. Yeah. If you go to our website, go to the Harvest Right website using our link, and you were to purchase something, we get a small commission at no extra cost to you guys. So
I've been Googling a lot of things to freeze dry because as we know, we didn't have a chance to freeze dry a whole lot before we moved.
We didn't.
So if you have checked out Miss Cogkill's videos in this past week, you realize that one of the things that I made was cornbread, 2 ways. One of the cornbread recipes called for buttermilk, right?
That's right.
So a lot of feedback telling me that I could add vinegar to regular milk to make buttermilk. Well, I'm aware of that, but it's just, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't feel like that's like real buttermilk.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm cheating.
It's got a little different taste to it.
Got a little different taste to it. And I feel like that's brought out if I go that route. So I just don't do it. Well, a lot of people did tell me that there is such a thing as powdered buttermilk, which I did not know that. I did not know it, but my wheels started turning. And you know what I was thinking?
Gonna freeze dry your buttermilk.
I can freeze dry buttermilk in my freeze dryer and have it in my pantry in a mason jar. So whenever I need buttermilk, I got it. So that's what I plan to do next.
Experiment freeze drying buttermilk.
Yes. And if you've been following us for very long, you know that I want to milk our goats.
Yes.
Well, we as a family of 3 can't go through a gallon of milk a day. There's no way.
No way.
If we do, we're going to explode. That would be the answer. Explode. I don't care how much I cook. I don't care how much I drink out of it. I can't go through a gallon of milk a day.
Right.
So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to freeze dry it. I mean, I got to have goats in milk first. I got to have a place to milk them. But I'm just getting my wheels turning, getting ready for what's to come.
Yeah, we as a matter of fact, I got the freeze dryer in position, but I think we're going to have to put it on a table so we can, because you drain the ice out of it.
That's right.
And,
but you know what?
What's that?
Do you know that podcast table that we used to use?
Yeah.
Well, it just so happens to still be stored in the garage.
I know it. I saw that today.
So I'm thinking that would be a good thing to do, and we could keep our bags there, and we could just, package it all right there.
We could, and we could put all our freeze drying stuff all right there.
Everything.
The sealer and everything.
It could be our freeze drying corner.
Wow. That would be perfect.
So another thing that I Googled was, different candies and stuff like that, which I don't need. I don't need that. I don't need the freeze dry candy because you know what's going to happen. I'm going to eat the whole thing, just like I did those peanut butter logs. I ate the whole thing.
Yeah.
But something that I want to try is freeze drying marshmallows. Mary Carl she does not like cereal. She's not a cereal girl, but she does like the marshmallows out of Lucky Charms.
What kids don't? I remember being a kid and picking the marshmallows out. Oh,
I don't.
Oh, I do. And that was after I shoved my hand down in there and dug around and got the prize out of the cereal. Do they still do that?
I don't think so.
They don't.
But we don't buy sugar cereal, so I can't tell you.
Do they still put toys down in there, or do they? I bet they put them on the side, or they just don't put them in there anymore. I bet
they don't.
I remember dumping the whole box of cereal out
and couldn't get it back in there,
and getting the toy out, and then having to pour it all back in the box.
But Mary Carl would get me to buy a box of Lucky Charms, and all she would do is eat the marshmallows out of it. And what kind of waste is that? So I just ended up quit doing it because I don't want her eating that much, marshmallows. But I am going to make her a whole freeze dryer full. So that's kind of contradictory to say that I didn't want her to eat the whole box. But I want to freeze dry some just because I want to know what it's going to come out like. Now, upon my reading, they were going to come out like the marshmallows in a box of cereal. So we shall see.
We shall see.
And I bet if I do the colored ones, I bet they're going to come out like the Lucky Charms ones.
I bet so too.
They're not going to be stars or or horseshoes or any kind of shape, but they're going to be freeze-dried marshmallows.
Interesting.
So I'm eager to just do some experimenting just to see what works. I thought today that I may make a pan of cornbread and freeze dry it.
That'd be interesting to see.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. Because the freeze drying, if you guys don't know, it's a process that's above my head. I know it gets hot and then it gets cold and gets like negative 30 something degrees in there and all this, and it removes all the moisture from whatever you put in there, and it's way different than dehydrating. Dehydrating is a totally different animal than freeze drying. But the freeze drying actually it's like taking a picture and just freezing it in time. So if you were to freeze dry a strawberry and put it in the bag, the Mylar bag or whatever, it would stay like a strawberry. They claim for 25 years, and then you can either eat it like it is, which we did, which is really, really good.
Or you can add water back to it.
And it reconstitutes it and makes it back into a strawberry again, or close enough to being a strawberry again. So that's the difference between freeze drying versus dehydrating.
And that's what you would do with the milk. It would turn into a powder, so you would add water to it, and it would reconstitute it into the quantity that you would need.
Eggs are one that I see a lot of people freeze drying. Is eggs, and they put them in mason jars, little mason jars, and so they got eggs like that, and then they just pour it in the pan and add the water to it, and it turns back into scrambled eggs.
Well, when my Rhode Island Reds get up and moving and going and get to producing, then we might have some eggs. But right now, it's taken me about 2 weeks to get up enough for us to have breakfast.
Speaking of your Rhode Island Reds, they're getting big. They're really, really getting big. Matter of fact, it's totally my fault, you guys. We recorded a video, and it was supposed to end with us showing the Rhode Island Reds.
Did it not?
I forgot to put it in there. I did.
Oh, no.
I sure did. So the Rhode Island Reds are big.
Well, I tell you this to let you know how big they are. This evening, I go and I cut their lights off because they're still in the garage. I go and I cut their lights off, and I always check on them, peek at them, make sure everything's okay. And I'm having to fill their water up twice a day. Yeah, they're big, and definitely 2 out of the 12 are roosters. No doubt. And they told me that 90% of them would be hens.
Yeah.
90%. That's not 90%.
What is that?
I don't know.
That's 80%.
No, because I bought 12.
Oh, I was thinking 8 out of 10. So it's about the same, about around 80%.
Yeah, that's not 90 though.
It's not 90.
That's
So
not
we
90.
definitely got 2 roosters.
I asked him today, meaning my husband, if I could get maybe 12 more since these are fixing to move out. And we know we can use the eggs because we have the freeze dryer. So maybe I can talk him into getting 12 more because the feed store just so happens to be getting some more chicks in this week. After I got mine and didn't know that, they were going to have any chicks this time of the year, I started following them on Facebook, and I'm now seeing that they're getting chicks in weekly, but I think this is the last shipment.
Is it? You said it was Barred Rocks and Isa Browns?
Barred Rocks and Isa Browns. I would want the Barred Rocks because, we're just partial to those old breeds. And
well, I always say if anybody wants to start off with chickens, the number 1 breed I always say is Rhode Island Red, and then a close second is Barred Rocks. Those 2 chickens are friendly, they're docile, they lay a ton of eggs, they're very, very healthy. They don't get sick or anything like that. They do great in any climate, and they're easy to find.
And I think that, if I had a second choice of a breed, that would be my second choice.
Yeah.
I do believe that would be my second choice. So maybe I need to make a run and go.
We wonder where Mary Carl gets her bird hoarding from.
Well, this isn't going to be bird hoarding. This is going to be for a purpose, Jason. I'm going to know when they get their chicks in.
I love the Barred Rocks. The Dominique is one of my favorite chickens, and I don't think we ever really owned them, really, to be honest with you.
We had 2 of them one time.
A long time ago.
Okay, look. Last order of chicks for the year. Order on November the 9th.
So you got Barred Rocks.
30 Barred Rocks and 29 Isa Browns, but you got to call and reserve them. And 12's a good number.
12's a good number.
12's a good number. It just so happened that they had 12 when I bought these, but I feel like 12's a good number to keep in the brooder.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
They're big now.
They're big.
But they're not too big to be in there. We're going to have to do something soon, but they're okay right now.
I got you. Oh, Isa Browns. If you don't know what Isa Brown is, it's a hybrid. It's where they're crossbreeding 2 different breeds and came up with the Isa Brown, and they are laying machines. Though that may be, if I had my phone, I would Google it. That may be the best layer. The Isa Brown. That name, I forget. That is a patented name. I think that's used a lot in your big.
Well, they call them different things. They call that Isa Brown different names depending on the hatchery.
No, not the Isa Browns.
Are you sure?
Yeah, the Isa Brown is a patent. It's a patent on the Isa.
The word Smith is at it again.
I'm at it.
I don't know when he's done all this chicken research. It's a crossbred chicken.
Yeah.
A sex-linked coloration. So you know what? If we got the Isa Browns, we would know we were getting hens.
All hens. That's right.
It's a mix of Rhode Island Reds and Rhode Island Whites. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
But it contains genes from a wide variety of breeds. But it's a closely guarded secret, so we're not going to find out.
Yeah, it's the Isa Brown is I swear there's a patent on that, or where you can't just get that anywhere, or somebody can't sell an Isa Brown that's not an Isa Brown and call it Isa Brown.
I'm gonna have to read on that.
I think I'm right on that one.
We'll find out.
It's not like the Golden Comet, and then another hatchery may call it a Golden Sunset or whatever. It's not like that. The Isa Brown is a different animal.
Hey, Gidge. Well, I seriously am thinking about getting 12 more because that bus will hold at least 24.
We have to get a bigger fence.
Bigger fence, but not a bigger bus.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna hook that bus up and I'm gonna move it around. I mean, this is my job.
Okay, I got you.
This is my job, moving these chickens around.
Probably do have to get a bigger fence.
But I have to ask you this.
Yeah.
How many times have you had to take care of the pullets?
None.
The pullets and the 2 cockerels.
None. Not
None.
once.
I take care of
You do take care of them.
my chickens,
Yeah.
and that's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I go change their, pad,
Mm-hmm.
and I give them fresh water and fresh food, and I make sure everybody's healthy and happy, and I still have 12 chickens, even though 2 are roosters.
You're doing a good job with them.
I am.
Yeah.
Now, if I were to come up with 12 barred rocks and them all be pullets,
Yeah.
I still have the 2 roosters that we could reproduce with.
What's your plans with the roosters?
Well, they're going to breed.
Is that what you think?
They're going to make more chickens.
Well, I guess if you had 24, it wouldn't matter.
No, that's what I'm saying. The 2 roosters will do well if I have 12 barred rock pullets, because then I'll have 22 hens to 2 roosters, and that'd be a good ratio.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to collect eggs. You're going to have to let them sit on them.
Well, I'm not going to do that unless I want them to hatch.
Unless you incubate them yourself.
Yes, I'm not. They're not broody chicks for the most part. And I'm going to gather these eggs just like I take care of them first thing in the morning. I'm going to gather their eggs first thing in the morning.
But the bad thing about hatching your own, the
Now
the
I'm
pros and
not
cons.
dead set on hatching them because I didn't
Okay.
order those roosters.
Yeah,
They came as a
Right.
asset.
having one in there would be nice because they will protect the flock
They
to some
will.
degree.
But that wasn't my plan, was
Right.
to have a rooster. So I can't control what happens with that.
Right,
But I'm not going to go out and slaughter him because he's a rooster.
right.
He's going to serve his purpose.
Unless he's mean.
Unless he's mean, and then he's got to go.
Yeah,
But he's not going on our dinner table. He's going to somebody else's farm where he can. I just can't do that with the babies that I've. All those chickens have names. Let me just tell y'all what they are. All those red chickens
Do
out
you
there.
have the names?
I do have the names.
The pros and the con of hatching your own is that you're going to get 50-50. You're going to get 50% roosters and 50% hens.
Okay, so 2 of these names have to change. Somebody just said, "Where's Arlo?" And you're putting him up here.
Oh, did they?
Okay, my 12 chickens out there are named Reba, Lucy, Piper, Carrot Top, Poppy, Scarlet, Harriet, Molly, Emma, Rita, Carol, Tina, and Cherry.
Carrot Top is a male comedian, so one of the roosters can be.
Oh, I know
Carrot
who
Top.
that is. I
Yeah.
don't know many, but they I'm sorry, Tina, but you're now Tommy. So Carrot Top and Tommy are the 2 roosters and the 10 hens. But they look really good. They're really healthy birds, and I'm very pleased with the way that they have.
And their temperament is kind of. I'll get you. You're gonna knock the light. out of
I've
baby.
noticed here lately that when I go out there,
Mhm.
they've always kind of scattered about
Mhm.
because there's not too much activity that goes on in the garage right now because
Mhm.
we're not parking in there. But they were kind of scared for a long time. But now when I open it up, they just look at me like,
Yeah.
"There's my mama."
I could tell that the other day when I filmed them that I was supposed to put in the video that I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm supposed to.
That's okay. We'll get it done because
I
we've
tell
got to
you,
move them.
I don't think we talked about this, but here's a rooster that I want.
Oh, goodness. Mary Carl says her daddy has lost his mind because, first of all, things that have
What's it called? A long crower or a long crier?
crier.
Long crier.
Have
y'all seen this thing?
I'm gonna let you talk because
It's called a
anything
long
to
crier.
do with this.
And the rooster, when it crows, y'all, you have to Google it. It's got to be all over YouTube and everywhere. It's called a long crier rooster. And y'all, he crows forever.
Until he passes out.
he just crows, and his crow is just so long. And I get tickled every time I see one.
I found some hatching eggs after he was so determined that he wanted one. And Mary Carl said, "Mama, don't you order those eggs. Don't you order those eggs."
I wish I could just find one rooster.
Yeah, but
One
see,
rooster.
that's what's going to happen.
I
Is we're going to
know.
hatch them, and they're all going to be hens.
Probably all be hens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be the only time we would want a rooster.
Oh my gracious. That thing, I get tickled every time I see one. I absolutely get tickled. It is hilarious.
It is.
Yeah.
But this morning, for the first time since we've been living in this house,
Yeah.
and the first time since October of 2021, we had scrambled eggs.
Oh, and they were delicious.
They were delicious.
Yes.
That's probably why I hadn't wanted much to eat today, because they're just so good for you and so filling, and you've just getting all that good nutrition.
They are
in you.
filling.
I think
really good.
all of us.
So you
enjoyed
had them too.
I did.
Oh, I didn't see you eat them. I was so busy eating mine.
Secret.
They were
I was
delicious.
a secret egg eater. But it took me a while to come up with enough for us to have scrambled eggs, but I did it this morning. And I told those girls, I said, you know what? I'm so proud of y'all because you finally produced a meal.
Yeah, they're slacking.
They've been producing a little pan of cornbread here and there, but today they did it.
They've been slacking.
Yeah.
They've been slacking.
And that's why we don't show gathering the eggs on the videos anymore like we used to, because we used to get a heap of eggs, but our chickens have grown elderly. They've really slowed down. And besides that, it's the time of the year too.
Yeah, it is the time of the year, and they're older.
They're older.
Yeah.
So, that's what we have those 10 girls out there in the garage and their husbands. That's what their purpose is to produce for our family.
Oh man.
But if we have 12 more, that'll really be producing for our family.
I'm still thinking about the long crier. Can you imagine waking up in the morning as that thing? Oh my gracious. I see a lot of people saying that they went and Googled it.
It's funny now. It's funny, but
me. I wonder how many times a day, because our roosters, especially Felix and Loki. Oh my gracious. It's just nonstop.
Yeah,
it's just one gets to going, and it's just a chain reaction, and it's
like, I can outdo you. No, I can outdo you.
It is. It's exactly like that.
Now, Timmy doesn't crow very much.
When I made the video about daylight savings, this little short about daylight savings, Timmy was on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, him and Felix were going back and forth.
Well, that's probably because he wanted to be the one you film, not Felix.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Well, Felix was right there by me, so they were going back and forth. But can you imagine? Timmy and Loki and Felix, they're just that little short little, and I see it. And then the other one does it. No, can you imagine that long cry or that 30-second crow? Because they don't crow over each other. You ever notice that?
Yeah, they wait till the other one finishes.
They wait till the other one's finished. And those guys are going to be like, man, this dude's got to go. We can't wait 30 seconds in between crows. This guy's got to get out of here. We got to get rid of it.
Yeah, they probably would take him out too. Those little Bantam roosters, while they are not, mean to us, they're feisty little boogers.
They are.
They seem to think that they're Hercules, and
just like a Chihuahua. That's what they're like.
No, just like that one.
She's the Chihuahua. She's not a Chihuahua though.
She's close.
She's close, but she's not a Chihuahua. But yeah, the little Bantams are just like little dogs. They just all attitude and
so mighty.
But when you see Redneck walk by or Corny walk by, they kind of
yeah,
they know there's a pecking order out there.
Oh, sure it is.
There's a pecking order out there.
Thank goodness all of ours get along.
Yeah,
and we've got some chicks that. Some hens on hidden eggs hatched, and I'm sure you've seen them walking around in the videos.
Oh gosh, yeah.
They're everywhere, but we might have one in that bunch that has to be rehomed. We're not for sure yet, but it just seems like it always happens. There gets to a point where when you have too many roosters, then there's one that says you got to go.
Yeah,
and they start fighting.
They'll start fighting, and or either they'll be mean to us, which. We don't like all that. So
no, we don't like all that. Mm-hmm. We don't like them being mean to the hens either.
No.
So we have all nice roosters right now, thank goodness. Oh, what was I fixing to say? It was very important. Oh, about the DNA test for the peacocks.
Oh, yes.
I got an email. I started thinking, I was like, you know what? I hadn't gotten an email saying that they got the DNA test, which I always get.
Yeah.
But I went back and really searched through emails.
Yeah.
They received the DNA test on Friday.
Oh, so they did get it on Friday.
They got it on
Friday.
Friday.
They're closed on the weekends, so that's Saturday and Sunday.
It says 1 to 3 business days
before we get the results.
So it should be Friday's
Monday,
video.
Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll know probably Wednesday-ish. We'll make the video on Thursday. Yep, you're right.
It should be Friday's
We
video.
should have something on Friday. Fingers crossed about the pea chicks.
And that made me think of it talking about roosters, because I was thinking, it's been our experience with peacocks in the past that if we have more than one, doesn't matter if you have 40 acres, the peacocks are gonna kind of mingle together.
Yeah, they will.
You're not gonna see one go across the property because he wants to be with his flock. So if we do have a male, they may not fight initially.
They may not fight. I had somebody reach out to me and said that they had several males on their farm and they never did fight. But we'll see. Chris, who was Crystal originally, and Scott, they had started fighting.
They had,
Yeah.
and we saw it happen, and we knew if they had started fighting, it wasn't going to end.
Yeah.
Once it starts, it's just going to elevate.
It will.
Rather than go backwards.
And then usually what happens is it just depends on ages. Scott, if he's in his prime, he can hold his own, and he usually whips up on the younger, or roosters are the same way. If you get a rooster in his prime, he's the dominant. He's the king of the hill, and he either will eliminate another rooster or he'll whoop them so bad that they'll leave him alone. But what happens is that guy gets on up in age, and then a younger one comes up and will try him, and then eventually at some point he'll get whipped, and
it'll be a flock order for sure.
Yeah, and then he may get hurt too bad and not make it or whatever. So that's what we try to eliminate around here as much as possible.
Yeah, we don't want to wait around until something bad happens before. I mean, if they start fighting, they're going to continue to fight.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's that way with ducks. It's that way with anything.
Ducks are vicious, y'all. When you think of a rooster, you think of roosters, maybe even turkeys, whatever. You don't ever think about ducks.
Yeah.
Ducks seem to have this image of being just funny and cute or whatever. Ducks are ruthless.
Yes, they are. If you get too many male ducks and you don't have enough females, my gracious.
Ruthless.
An example of a good group of ducks, and I told you this earlier, we were talking about our call ducks. We have Mochi and Mallow, who are our little white call ducks, and we have Forrest and Jenny, who are he's a butterscotch and she's a
blue, isn't she?
I can't remember what the color's called though. Anyway, we have two pair of call ducks, and they live together, and they live together in harmony. They each have their own wife, while Forrest doesn't mess with the white call duck's wife, and vice versa. They're just pairs, and they live together so sweetly.
They do. And if you don't know what a call duck is, it's like a miniature duck.
Bantam duck.
And it's domesticated. It's one of the domesticated breeds, and they got to be the cutest animal on the farm.
They
by far the cutest.
They are the cutest animal on the farm. We do keep them in confinement they're in the area that the peacocks used to be in.
Yeah. And
the reason being is because we have other ducks on the farm that would try to beat them up.
They would beat them up because the ducks are ruthless. They really are.
And so we feel, and the area is huge. It's plenty big enough for those 4 little ducks to live in.
Yeah.
They have 2 swimming pools that I clean out every single day. And they do make a fairly loud call. But usually it's when they want something.
And typically it's the female seems louder than the male.
She's definitely louder than the male.
Especially during broody season.
Yeah, during breeding season, they get really loud.
They're loud.
The first call duck that we ever had, we ordered the eggs on eBay.
Oh yeah.
And we ordered a dozen eggs, and only one of them hatched. And y'all, ducks are supposed to hatch at 28 days for the most part. There are those that are a little bit different, but duck eggs should take 28 days. Well, this duck was the only one to hatch, and she hatched at 23 days.
Which is crazy.
We weren't expecting, we still had them in the turner.
Yeah.
which weren't going to take them out of the part that turns in the incubator until they were about 28 days. So she was still in the turner and she started hatching. We got her out and we put her in another, heated brooder so she could finish hatching. And she was the cutest little white tufted.
Had a little booth.
Call duck. Her name was Early, and she's the only one that hatched. But we loved that little duck. She was the sweetest thing.
And goodness gracious, she loved sitting on eggs. Ooh,
she was the broodiest duck we ever owned.
She was so broody.
She actually lost her life at the old farm, sitting on eggs somewhere we didn't realize she was.
Yep.
And we hated it so bad because she was the cutest, sweetest little duck. Little Early. Awesome. And, the crested ducks is actually a deformity in their skull where they're not the healthiest. Yeah. But we didn't intentionally, buy her as a crested duck. She hatched out that way. We bought the eggs on eBay. But that little tuft just made all the difference in her cuteness.
It did. And that's like a gene mutation.
It is.
Is what that is. And duck eggs. Do we eat the duck eggs? Do we like? We actually did me and Mary Carl. Remember that? This was maybe 2 years ago. I almost positive it was 2 years ago. We gathered eggs. We had the duck eggs. We had the chicken eggs. We had turkey, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Turkey egg. And what was it? Goose.
Yes, it was a goose egg.
We had 4 eggs, and me and Mary Carl did a blind taste test.
I cooked them the same way.
All the same way. And we already didn't like, didn't like, I don't like duck eggs. I don't like the way they taste. I really don't. But then I thought, well, maybe it's just in my head. So we did the blind taste test. And it was obvious. Me and Mary Carl both. Chicken egg was number 1.
Uh-huh.
And we could tell right off the bat the chicken egg. The duck egg was last.
No, she loves the duck eggs. The duck eggs are her favorite egg to eat.
Not in the blind taste test.
Maybe not. But she says that the duck egg is her favorite egg.
But that was 2 years ago, so her palate may have changed too.
Yeah, that's true. But for the most part, our ducks don't lay in a place that we could gather the eggs. They lay just walking on the ground and it falls and you don't know how long it's been there. I will tell you a funny story. When we lived at the old farm, we had Cayuga ducks, and those are a black duck that looks green.
When the light hits it, it changes. It looks like a cool green color when the sun hits their wings.
Yes, they were a cool duck, and they laid. The coolest thing about them to me was not only their color, but the color of their eggs. The color of their eggs were like a gray color.
Gray, and they could even get as dark to almost black.
Yes, they were. So that's why we got that. The ducks initially was because of the cool color eggs. So Mary Carl was little, and we were making cornbread. Imagine that. So she and I went down, and she wanted a duck egg in the cornbread because that was something that she just always, it made it richer, and duck eggs are richer.
Yeah.
So she and I went down to the coop, and we did our best to locate a fresh duck egg. And we brought it back to I can't help but get tickled. We brought it back to the house, and it was a Cayuga egg. And Mary Carl convinced me that egg was laid that day. She just knew it. And she was probably, 5 years old at the time?
Yeah, probably so.
And her vocabulary has always been very good. She's able to communicate with adults just like I can. So she convinced me that egg was laid that day. We went home. We started making our cornbread. And I had all my mixture. I had my oil hot. I combined my milk and my cornmeal. And I cracked that egg open, and it exploded all over my kitchen.
It was rotten.
It was a rotten egg. And I didn't trust that 5-year-old again to collect me a fresh duck egg. To make y'all, my kitchen smelled like rotten eggs for weeks.
It did. You couldn't get it out.
And I said to myself, I didn't tell her this because I didn't want her feelings to be hurt. But I said right then, I'll never make cornbread with a duck egg again.
But you do.
I do, but I gotta know. She's almost 13 now. Surely to goodness she wouldn't tell me an egg was fresh if it wasn't.
What did it sound like?
Oh wow, we don't want to go there.
If you ever, it does. It makes a popping noise.
Explosion. Just a. Oh gosh, I couldn't get that thought out of my mind if I wanted to about making that cornbread.
And it kind of went on the wall.
Oh, it went everywhere. It went everywhere. It went just top to bottom of that kitchen. And she was sitting there like, she didn't know what to think. Well, Mama, it was laid today. No, baby, it was not laid
That
today.
wasn't laid today.
No. But, she's not going to convince me to bring any kind of.
Oh my gracious!
And she wanted that Cayuga egg because it was the cool color.
Yeah.
You know, I guess it might have been the cool color because it was rotten.
That's funny. I remember that now.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that in a long time, but oh, gracious goodness. I can remember one time when I was little, my mama was boiling eggs and she forgot about them. And we like to go on walks and on a little wooded trail, and she kept kids. So she and her group of kids that she was keeping, including myself, went on our walk, and we got home and there were literally eggs from one end of that kitchen to the other because it's a wonder the house didn't catch on fire.
It's a wonder.
Because all of the water had boiled out of the eggs and they had exploded.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a big mess, but it was different than the smell of that rotten egg. Ugh.
Oh, me.
It was a mess. It was a mess.
Somebody said it was an egg explosion.
It sure was.
Egg explosion.
It sure was. I think she was about 5 years old, don't you?
Yeah, she probably was 5, somewhere around in there.
Yeah. But I trusted her then about birds, just like I trust her today.
About birds.
She knows her stuff, but
Yeah,
she didn't know that.
She didn't know that egg hadn't been sitting there for a while.
It was freshly laid that day.
And for it to be rotten, it takes a little while.
It does.
It takes a while because, actually, the United States is pretty much, I'm sure there's other countries that refrigerate their eggs, but for the most part, most countries don't refrigerate their eggs. And they can stay on your counter as long as you don't wash them.
Yeah.
Because it has that
bloom
flora on it, that bloom.
It has what? That flora?
Flora.
Wordsmith.
Wordsmith.
Oh, gosh.
Look up flora.
Flora? Is that how you spell it? What is a
flora?
Told you,
I'm not a spelling bee person. I'm just a wordsmith. So, anyways, fresh eggs can stay on the counter.
Jason.
Yeah.
Flora is plants of a particular region. It's not the bloom of an egg.
Yeah, you have to. You're not looking at all of it. There's more to it. But you leave them sit on your counter for, gosh, at least 4 weeks easily. Probably longer than that, but
yeah. Truth is, when grocery store eggs hit the shelf, they can be 4 weeks old.
They can be 4 weeks old. But the reason why they have to refrigerate those is because they wash them.
Yeah, they wash them.
They wash them, and so all that bloom is washed
flora,
off.
All the flora's gone.
That's right. If you were to look at an egg under the microscope, it's got holes in it.
Yeah, microscopic
and
holes.
So the bloom protects it, and it just got that coating.
I want you to say flora, not bloom.
The flora protects the egg and keeps bacteria getting in it, and that's what causes for you to get sick or whatever with eggs.
Salmonella.
Right. So if you don't wash it off, and then it protects it, and so they stay on the counter for a long time.
And you can always do that float test if you're in, I don't know the word. If you don't know if your egg's good or not, put it in the sink in some water, and if it floats, it's bad. If it sinks, it's good.
Right. And you can really tell the age of it then, because if
it'll start raising a little bit.
It's still okay, and it may come up just a little bit. But if it floats up, don't try to cook your cornbread with it, because you're gonna have an explosion.
Well, you don't have to worry about me, because duck eggs are out of the question for my cornbread unless it's cracked outside.
Unless you see it.
Yeah.
Boom, laid.
That's
then you
right.
can grab it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, me.
All right. You think you want to take some questions, or you need to call it?
I
a
gotta
night?
edit.
Well, I know, but we got 6 minutes till it's an hour.
Okay, that'll work.
Somebody last week wanted to know why my eyes were always so squinty, and I was just born that way. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with me. I was just born with squinty eyes.
I didn't see that question.
Well, I did.
Hmm.
They said, "Why is your wife always squinting?"
Because she's trying to see.
Well, no. What is that?
Oh,
Gidget thinks it's something for
let's
her.
not for Gidget. You can't have a Gidget.
Okay, so what about some questions? You want to take just a few?
Well, we'll take a couple.
Let's leave it to 3, but you got to read them.
We have not had a party garden live stream yet. That should be coming up though. We should be completely through with the parterre garden, and hopefully by the end of the week.
I actually went down to the barn the other day and was going to get my stain out to stain the things that needed to be stained. And I thought to myself, you know what? You're trying to rest your body. You're trying to not get sick.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the stain.
You didn't get the stain.
Because I'm trying to keep well.
No cabinet doors yet.
No cabinet doors.
Right.
We should have talked about that earlier.
No cabinet doors yet.
Mr. Allen did message me, and last Thursday, no, Thursday before last, and said the cabinet doors should be installed Monday or Tuesday, and they weren't. And I haven't touched base with him because, you know, they'll get here.
They'll get here.
They'll get here. There's nothing I can do about it. So, can you see my pantry?
You can see the pantry. Brooke's latest video on her channel, Mrs. Coghill Farm. She has a full tour of the pantry and the backsplash.
Pantry, backsplash, my counter stools, cooking cornbread. Y'all go check it out if you hadn't.
Yep.
Go check it out.
The curtains are good.
Yeah, the curtains are good.
Solar panels. I see somebody saying solar panels. Alabama is not a solar-friendly state at all. We would never get our return on investment with solar unless something changed. It just solar panels are.
We describe it as Alabama is not a very solar-friendly state. So getting our return back, it wouldn't hardly be worth it. And I mean, we are all for solar electricity.
Sure, absolutely.
But it just, I mean, there's no way we could financially get a return on it.
Yeah. The driveway, Mr. Greg's been working. We can actually kind of see what's going on with the driveway, and it looks pretty good.
It is awesome. I tell you, Mary Carl and I went out of town yesterday, and we'll talk about that on our next live stream. But when I came back, Greg worked yesterday. So Jason stayed here because Greg was working, and there were some other things that he needed to be here for. And I got back yesterday and I thought to myself, my gracious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking totally different. Way better than I ever expected, but I shouldn't have expected less.
Yeah, it looks different. He's doing as usual, an awesome job. He's actually done changed up. He's like, first he was going to put a drainage pipe in the front and a drainage pipe in the back. And now he's unsloped it and then got a different ditch in it, and he's going to put one big pipe in it instead of having two pipes in it. And so he's done changed it up already.
He's got and you told me he asked if it would, if that was okay with us. We don't care, Greg. You're the man.
Whatever you say goes.
Whatever
buddy.
you say is what you do, because he knows best. And we were, that's one of the good things about Brant, Heidel, and Roberto, Greg. I don't know who I'm missing, but those guys, you can just leave it up to them. And
that's right.
As long as it's not a cosmetic type decision, y'all do what you think needs to be done.
That's right.
And that's the kind of workers that we have been working with for the most part.
The tour of your mom's house hasn't happened yet.
No, she's kind of holding something over Jason's head. if he doesn't order this picture for her,
Oh gosh, I forgot about it.
she told me, I said, Mama, I said, people want to see your house. And she said, yeah, well, you got to get Jason to order me that picture because I don't want to show my house until this picture's up. It's a picture of us, and she wants it to hang, I think, in her bedroom,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. And she says after that picture's hung, that I can show her house.
Oh my gracious. All right.
One more.
One more.
Peahen DNA. We talked about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said my eyes are lovely. I'm so glad that you feel that you can look past the squinty and when are you stocking the pond with fish?
When it gets filled up. When it gets filled up. We're, the last 2 winters, if this winter was anything like the last 2 winters we've had, we probably would fill up pretty good. But they're predicting a dry winter this year. So we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
We're going to get water in the pond come what may. If we end up having to dig a well in the future, we'll do that. But we are just hoping and praying that we get that pond filled up naturally.
Yep. Did we find more sod?
Okay. Where was I? I was on the way to take Mary Carl to the doctor.
Yep.
This week. And I got a phone call and I didn't know the number. And you know as well as I do, if you don't know the number, you probably ain't going to answer the phone.
That's right.
That's twice this has happened. And my intuition told me to answer the phone. The first time was I was driving the tractor and the phone rang and I didn't know who it was. And I answered it. Yes, ma'am. I'm calling about the tiny house. I answered the phone. Weird number. I'm so glad I did because otherwise, the tiny house might still be here. Second time was, hey, Brooke, this is Helen at South Dallas Turf. I wanted to let you know that I talked to the owner and he said that you can get some more sod, limited sod, up to 3 pallets.
So we did. So we haven't got it yet.
No, she said
that was on Friday, wasn't it?
No, it was early in the week. But
Okay.
She said that I could, get with her whenever I felt comfortable coming to get it. That I could get 1 pallet at a time, or I could get all 3 pallets at one time, whatever we wanted to do.
Okay.
So it's just all falling into place.
It is. So that was awesome, and
so we're starting to think that we might do more than 1 live a week.
Yeah, we are thinking that.
I have talked to Mary Carl about doing a live, and she did not smile upon me mentioning it to her. She's not wanting to be on camera too much.
Yeah, if you guys have probably seen it. She you don't see her as much as you used to, and as she's gotten older, especially probably in the last 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
She doesn't like being on camera anymore, which is perfectly fine,
Yes. So when I mentioned it to her, she wasn't, too interested in it, and I respect that. And I had talked about maybe me and Mary Carl could do a live. I can do a live by myself. That's fine. But you and I are thinking that we can handle 2 a week.
Yeah, we probably can handle 2 a week.
We probably can. We got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Got a lot to talk about. So if y'all listen to me, then I'll talk.
That's right.
If y'all will listen, I'll talk.
That's
Jason
right.
can talk too sometimes.
Sometimes I'm a wordsmith, just
get it.
She was real close. I have to elaborate.
What was that word you used earlier? Flora. Okay.
It sounded good, didn't it? You didn't think so?
Nuh-uh.
It sounded better than bloom.
Well, that's the definition, is bloom.
Guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode of our Sunday sit down with us 2 nuts. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all be good. It's a bug, isn't it?
Stink bug. Imagine